Hello, friends. Sorry, I'm distracted. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I wanted to make a video today because Giving Tuesday is tomorrow. If you don't know what that is, it kind of comes on the heels of Black Friday and Cyber Monday at a time when most of us are trying to get our Christmas shopping done and spending a little more than maybe we ought to. We start thinking about those who are less fortunate and maybe some nonprofit organizations that we'd like to support during this holiday season to continue that good work. And so I want to talk with you about Unfaulted because we're still raising funds through our Both Hands project. And I wonder if you knew that the holidays are often the hardest time for foster youth who have aged out. While many of us celebrate, these young adults often find themselves in crisis with no family to support them. And they're facing this season alone. So you might be wondering what a crisis like that looks like. One crisis might be that they suddenly become evicted, or maybe they're told without any notice that they need to leave their temporary living situation. They also have limited employment opportunities, and because of that and the desperate need to have a safe place to sleep, young women are often highly vulnerable and preyed upon, and they might be coerced and eventually trafficked. Leading from that, it's important to point out that a high percentage of girls who age out of foster care, 70% in fact, 7 out of 10, become pregnant before the age of 21. Facing these crisis pregnancies without stable housing, without sufficient financial resources, and certainly without a family support system to help them raise that child. These young women, and this is really important, these young women have significantly higher rates of trauma, PTSD, anxiety, and depression due to their childhood experiences. And in fact, these kids may be 18, but with the background that they have and the amount of trauma that they've experienced, you can cut their age in half mentally, emotionally, developmentally. So you wouldn't let a 9-year-old go on their own. And that's how prepared these girls and boys are often. So because of this significantly higher rates of things like PTSD, they certainly find themselves in a crisis. The isolation and the stress of the holidays can also trigger severe mental health crises like breakdowns or even an intense suicidal ideation. They also face financial destitution and food insecurity because they struggle to maintain steady employment. A lot of times they struggle to maintain employment, not because they're lazy or because they're not smart, but it's because they lack transportation, they lack childcare, and they can lack the soft skills that they need to maintain steady employment. So this is a bigger problem than maybe you can imagine, especially this time of year. And that's where Unfaulted does come in. The work that they do is really essential because it addresses the core needs that can prevent crisis or at least walk alongside these girls and boys when they're in crisis. Because Unfaulted provides stable, long-term support like case management, counseling, and mentorship, things that families would usually be the ones to provide, but these people, they aged out of foster care without that. They don't have a family of their own. Another thing that's really awesome about Unfaulted is they don't take a holiday break. So on Giving Tuesday, I'd like to ask you to consider supporting this amazing nonprofit organization. Your support would help them provide trauma-informed counseling, case management that connects young girls who have aged out of foster care with housing support, transportation, employment, and mentorship, and sometimes even forever families eventually. That's a pretty big deal, and I think it's worth supporting on Giving Tuesday. So when you do that, you help give them hope. Give these girls hope, not just for the holidays, but for a better future in general. I'm going to put that link to our Both Hands fundraising page that is secure in the comments, and there are no administrative fees taken out of any of the donations. Unfaulted will get every penny of donations that go through that link. And so you can feel secure in doing that. And if you're a hands-on kind of person and you're local to the North Texas area, I could use 3 to 5 more volunteers to help with the Heart of the Both Hands project, which is a widow service day. We'll be doing things like raking, spreading mulch, organizing a garage, packing up some books to take to a local library to donate, some clothing and things to donate, and some light cleaning and things. So nothing big. It's going to be a lot of fun. And my husband is smoking a pork butt to feed everybody. If you've ever eaten one of Derek's meals, you'll know you're in for a treat. So that's a hands-on opportunity in addition to this Giving Tuesday opportunity. So I hope you'll consider helping my friends at Unfaulted. I know them, I trust them, I love them, and you can be sure that that's a great investment of your donation and that they will steward it well. Thank you, and happy holidays.